Hi, my name is Pheba Koshy, and this is my story. In 2016, I was diagnosed with mental illness. The symptoms were there for several years before that, but in June of 2016, it all sort of came to a head, and I had threatened to take my life. And later that same day, I would be hospitalized at a psychiatric hospital for the next 10 days as an inpatient. While I was in the hospital, they take everything away from you. You're really left with just the clothes on your back. But that night, I made sure to ask my dad and my brother to bring a Bible back for me when they came for visitation. And for the next 10 days, I would pour through the pages of that Bible. And it was a moment-by-moment journey while I was there. But having God's word in my heart is what gave me comfort and gave me the strength to get from one moment to the next. There were also several people who helped me cope after that hospitalization and continue to do so. These include my parents, who are my pillars of faith. In those moments when I don't have the words to pray, they're there at the drop of a hat to come and sit with me and pray for me, and they're always interceding for me, and I'm so grateful for them. And of course, my two beautiful children, they are so positive, and they just want to see me happy. They want to see me laugh, and they do that each and every day for me. But what helps me cope when I see my children is to visualize their bright and beautiful futures where they're serving God faithfully and raising their own families in the fear of the Lord. And that gives me hope and a reason to live. Also, my wonderful husband, who in August of this year will be married 13 years, and he has kept faithful to his vows in sickness and in health. He has loved me and cared for me so deeply. And it's really his perseverance and prayer and his faith that has got our family and myself through some very difficult times. And I love him so much. And finally, I was able to cope in community. I was part of two life groups, one made up of younger moms and another made up of more seasoned women of faith. And there I was able to be vulnerable with my testimony, with my prayer needs, and they offered me godly counsel and words of encouragement to make it through each day. So while I was in that hospital, that is when I actually had my encounter with Christ. I was born and raised in a Christian home, but it was at the age of 32 that I rededicated my life to the Lord. There was a lot of pain and darkness those days in that hospital, but He kept me safe, and He reassured me that He would never leave my side. And He's continued to do that throughout this entire journey. While I was in that hospital, He also pointed out 3 other Indian women who were there at the time. And He told me that my testimony would be taken to the Indian community. At the time, we were part of a non-denominational church, as well as life groups. And He had given me countless opportunities to share my testimony. But there was only one other Indian who actually heard my testimony during those years. So I asked God, how is this possible? I trusted Him, and I wrote it in my journal, and I left it to Him. And little did I know that in 2021 we would be part of Metrochurch of God, and God would open up an opportunity during a Bloom Bible study to share my testimony to 40 women during that Zoom call. And that is only something that God could do in His perfect way and in His perfect timing. And I'm so amazed at the opportunities that He continues to bring my way to share His goodness and His faithfulness in my life. Right now, I take it one day at a time, but I choose to trust the process and trust the doctors, the psychiatrists, the counselors that He's placed around me, and trust in the advice and the treatment plans that they've created. As hard as some days have been, I've always managed to find some glimmer of hope, whether it be through a song, a YouVersion devotional, just seeing my kids at play and interacting with each other. God always gives me that glimmer of hope to be able to go on from one day to the next. And I'm always reminded of Psalm 121, which tells us that He will preserve my soul. He will keep me safe. He will be with me now and forevermore. And that just gives me so much encouragement. Mental illness is a disease, just like any other disease in your body. So I encourage you to get the help that you need whether it's from psychiatrists or Christian counselors. Trust in the process and trust that God is giving you exactly what you need to live your best life, an abundant life. The other day, I sat with my mom and we together sang the song, "Great is Thy Faithfulness." And I just want to encourage you to listen to that song. And there's a powerful line in that song that says, "All I have needed, Thy hands have provided." So trust that you are equipped and God has given you exactly what you need to fight this mental illness and to live an amazing life. As a mom, I know it sometimes feels like you're carrying the weight of the world. You're wondering if your kids are safe, if they're healthy, if they're happy. And when you're struggling with mental illness, on top of that, it can be extremely overwhelming. But if no one has told you today, I just want you to know that you're doing an amazing job. And God is also your biggest cheerleader. He sees exactly what you're doing. He sees how much you care and love your kids. So trust God and trust that He has given you exactly what you need to be a tremendous blessing as a mom for those beautiful children. Thank you for letting me share my story. I hope it was an encouragement to you. God bless.